Hey, providing an update on the Jetson Orin Nano project. So I got it up and running. It's on my desk right now, working. I think you see the fan spinning, and I wanted to go over what I had to do to get it to that point. And it wasn't as straightforward as you'd expect. So I guess on the hardware side, a few things that threw me off. The micro SD card does not come included with the uh, the device, so I had to order that separately, and I went with this SanDisk Extreme. I got the 256 gigabyte card because I wanted to make sure I didn't run out of space while I was doing image processing stuff, and that seems to be working well. The other thing that threw me off was the to connect it to the monitor. It's a display cable port. It's not an HDMI port. So I tried to plug in an HDMI port, and that's when I realized that it wasn't fitting, and it was a display cable port. I fortunately had a display cable, and one of my three monitors has a plug for a display cable, but I think uh, it's not unless you recently bought a monitor. Older monitors don't typically have a display cable port. At least my other two older ones don't. So those are a couple of things to keep an eye out for. Um, and then when it came to flashing the Jetpack firmware onto the micro SD card, um, I went to, let's see, what did I go to? Okay, so I went to NVIDIA's website. I went to NVIDIA Jetson developer kits. Went to the Jetson Orin Nano Super because that's what I ordered, and um, and then I figured going to download SDK would take me where I need to go. So I clicked on that, and it took me into Jetpack to a Jetpack 7 page. But when I did some more poking around in here, um, I think somewhere, I don't know where it says it, but it's basically not compatible with the the Orin Nano. So it's compatible with some other Jetson variants, like the more expensive ones, but it doesn't work with the Orin Nano. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I doubt anybody from NVIDIA is watching this, but if you are, consider changing the link here to an SDK that would actually work with the Jetson Aura Nano and not Jetpack 7. But after asking Claude and doing some more digging, I eventually came across what page? Not this one, not this one, not this one. I found this. So initial setup guide for Jetson Orin Nano developer kit. Wasn't super easy to find. Um, but apparently I need Jetpack 6.2 flashing to the micro SD card. Um, and in this tutorial, in this guide, says a bunch of stuff. Obviously, it does say that DisplayPort to HDMI cable would work, so I wasn't sure if that would work. I guess if you do have an HDMI port on your monitor, you could get a DisplayPort to HDMI cable, and that would work. Um, but getting the firmware onto the SD card, it says that first I need to get Jetpack 5.1.3, and then that will make it compatible with the 6.2 version that we'll eventually get to. And Claude told me that if the device was manufactured in 2026, then it doesn't need to do this step. Um, and it said that I should just give it a try, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then I can go back to 5.1.3. So I just skipped all this stuff and went straight down to this step 6. And this is where I got the Jetson Aura Nano developer kit, Jetpack 6.2.1. So I downloaded that onto my computer, and then I had to use this software, Balena Etcher, to flash to the micro SD card. So there's a link to download that at the top of this page. Actually, in step 2, there's a link to Belina's site, if that's how you say it. So I downloaded this onto my computer, and it looks like, how do I get to my, good grief. Here we go, Belina Etcher. So I plugged in the micro SD card, flashed from file, selected the target. This took like 20 to 30 minutes, so it took a little while. But I got it onto the micro SD card and plugged it into the Jetson, and it powered up, and it seems to be working great so far. Again, here's the unit all set up. You can see the fan spinning. And here's the display cable, power cable. I plugged in a crappy Logitech keyboard and mouse directly into the USB ports. Yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to switch over to showing showing the interface. The audio is going to change because I'm switching to a different microphone input, but we'll transition over to there.
Okay, this is what the user interface of the Nano looks like. Um, I was surprised by how much it just looks like a computer. I don't know what I was expecting, but the interface is like pretty impressive. And the thing that I was most excited about was that it has a web browser. Maybe I was naive, but I wasn't expecting this. I was planning on doing vibe coding between my laptop and the Jetson and having to go back and forth between those two. But having the web browser in here makes it super easy because basically I logged into Claude and had the terminal open. Actually, let me see. Yeah, had the terminal open and it just let me basically try stuff and then copy paste it into the terminal and run it. So it's been pretty smooth so far. It's only crashed once and everything seems to be going pretty well. And some of the outputs that I've generated already are pretty cool. Let me see if I can find some of the first outputs. I don't want to show too much because I want to create another video showing some of the outputs. This is just kind of about setup, but I guess I can just show you some of the outputs. So as you can see, I've been doing quite a bit of stuff. Let me go way back to like the beginning here. See if I can find an output that I pasted into Claude. Yeah, so this was my first attempt at aligning a single capture. I don't think it was my first attempt actually, but this is one of my attempts. And you can see that the alignment wasn't great, but I'm working towards something that's better. And I think in the next video, at least I was very impressed with the final output on band alignment, but I'll show you that in the next video. So if you want to take a look at that, feel free to subscribe so that you can catch the next video. Thanks.